You're very welcome back to the show. Now, the mind is like a matrix of thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts can feel overwhelming, which can lead to anxiety and stress. Well, my next guest believes we should all get to know our own minds. She trained with Dr. Joe Vitale from the book and movie The Secret and wrote a chapter in his new book, The Abundance Factor. Denise Brannick, you're very welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Denise, how did you get to where you are today, from your high-flying career woman to writing a book and helping us all declutter our minds?
Well, it's interesting that you went straight from high-flying career to writing a book. And, you know, if I think back, there was chronic stress in there.
Yeah.
So I suppose how I came about to write a chapter in a book is that in around kind of 2008, and I suppose this started long before that in terms of understanding now that I had deeply rooted fear and anxiety and insecurity in my subconscious mind. Now, I was not aware of that when I was growing up, and I kind of very forthright, very much out there. But these programs would just override, as the subconscious does.
When you say programs, what do you mean by programs?
So to explain it, and I think I've explained this to you before. So when I was around 11, I was asked to sing at my own confirmation, and at that time, I didn't know really what was going on, and we were down at the rehearsal, and I literally was walking up to do a solo, and when I turned around, I can kind of remember just downloading shock, anxiety,
The fear,
there's this huge crowd out there in front of me. Of course, we didn't have this language back then. You know, we'd no idea about the subconscious mind, and I suppose I tried to sing, and the priest came over to me and said, you know, we can't hear you. And survival at all cost, I came up with, I don't think the mic is on, but probably in the hope that he'd say, no problem, you go on home and you don't need to come back. Because fight or flight or stuck. I couldn't fight because I was there. I couldn't take flight
because he wouldn't.
Where would I go? No, not so much about him, but where, you know, I was stuck, so I got into stuckness. Now, the subconscious will download that program, and it stays there, but it keeps playing out even when you're an adult.
So in other different situations, that's what you do?
Other situations, it'll continue to play out.
So from an 11-year-old girl getting that absolute mortifying fright in front of everybody.
I think even more than mortifying, just pure
fear.
Yeah, I could just imagine, like, I felt anxiety coming in here today, but the difference now is that I don't have a pattern that will come up, and the subconscious mind would nearly be saying, abort, abort, you're not going to go in.
Yeah.
Because it's the younger program, it is this younger part of me. It's like the child, it's the ego, it's the part of me that's saying, no, we must protect you at all cost. But that was great back then, but it doesn't serve when you get older. So
what therapies or what practices do you work with to kind of get over those things and deprogram us from the fears that may be holding us back?
Well, I've just qualified now as a coach with Positive Success Group, and I use a combination of Ho'oponopono, which I talk about in the book.
That's a Hawaiian therapy, isn't it?
It's Hawaiian, yeah. It's a Hawaiian problem solving. Yeah. And it's something that an individual can do with themselves, because we all have this inner rocket in our heads, this kind of... I used to have a Woody Woodpecker, you know, on my shoulder. So I could be out here and I'd have this, you know, ba, 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 ba. Now, again, I wasn't aware. I thought I was my voice. I thought this is who I am. I suppose what I've come to understand, that is nothing to do with who I am. My thoughts are nothing to do with who I am. So I don't have that anymore. So what I do have now is I come more from the space within, my gut instinct. And I have had to turn the mirror back to myself to look into my own mind, because I was trying to control my external environment. And it makes sense, because when I was younger, in that situation I was in, I couldn't control it. So my subconscious mind tried to control everything externally as I'm an adult, but that's impossible.
So at some point, because trying to control everything, like I used to be still a little bit a terrible control freak, and trying to let go of various aspects of your life. And I think that's why it's such a problem with weight over the years, because it's the one thing I couldn't control. It's the one thing I was unable to control, and it really, really frustrated me. But to actually have that need to be in control of every facet of your being, it's no wonder you get chronically stressed because of it. So at what point did the straw break the camel's back for you?
I suppose you don't notice at first if you're getting into stress. I suppose there was always stress there, but you know, you handle it. But stress in itself, even through thought, you can
Was there any specific time of your life that it came through from you?
Well,
was it work related or personal life related, or what did
I was putting all my energies into work, because that's a very easy place to put it, because you don't have to deal with the emotional stuff kind of going on. So, you know, there was long hours, there was work, and it just got to the stage where I just kept showing up. Even though I felt empty inside, you know, I wasn't functioning internally, but I kept showing up, I kept showing up, I kept showing up, until I wasn't able to show up one day.
Putting on the brave face like we've all done until you break.
But here's the funny thing, Elaine. We think it's the brave face out there, but I now know it was me running from me. It took that in order for me to say, OK, I got to look in my own mirror. I've got to look into my own mind. I've got to figure this out.
And how did you get down the path that you got to then? And I mean, you trained with Dr. Joe Vitale, which I love the book, The Secret. I mean, it's about it's the abundance factor is this book, and of course, The Secret is all about the power of your thoughts and attracting what you want into your life. So, I mean, you seem quite centred and happy now. But how long did it take you? And what
I thought you could say a lifetime.
Yeah,
but a lifetime.
From that point to now, and the training you did with Dr. Joe Vitale, how did that influence you?
Well, I suppose 2016 is when I did, and that's when I suppose for the last number of years it was this coming together, this realising, this kind of really bringing all parts of me, I suppose, back together. Breaking through the walls of my own mind. And in 2000...
Very scary thing to do.
I think I was always going to do it if I look back.
Yeah,
I think
it's just a matter of time.
I think I was. I was always... I knew this couldn't be right, this internal struggle. This couldn't be right. This is not how human beings should be living. We're here for such a short space of time, and we are living already in abundance. But I couldn't access it because I was too lost in thought. I was too lost in the future, stuck in the past, resisting the present. I don't resist the present. It doesn't mean that I don't get somewhat stressed or a little bit of anxiety coming in here, but you know what? I can work that out with myself.
So how do you work with your abundance then, and how do you appreciate it? Because I think that's perhaps for a lot of people, it's very hard to appreciate what we have in the here and now, because we are worried about what's going to happen to us when we're older. God, what we did 5 years ago, how that affected us. Yeah. So living in the now, is that a very key part of it?
That is it, living in the presence. But what that actually means, because again, I had it at a theory level, because I, in the power now, but I didn't have it at the feeling. I have it at the feeling level. Nobody can take it from me except me. I'm the only one that... But if I am sitting here now with you, and I could easily switch on the old voice and start going
Woody Woodpecker's back again.
I wonder what people are making of this at home. I've no control over that. So I'm here. I'm present with you. There is no thinking going on. And I think you can feel the difference.
Yeah.
I would like to be a little bit more in my centre, but that's okay. This is something I've never done before. I've never been on TV before. So that's all okay. So what I would say to people is shift the focus. Turn the mirror back gently. Don't get into a Punch and Judy match with that voice in your head that sabotages you, or that tells you this or tells you that, or, oh, look at you now, you're eating, and so that makes me then eat a little bit more. I mean, I have a memory to keep the anxiety down, sitting in front of the television, and I had one big Mars bar. And then I was back at the fridge, and it was a 3-pack, and I had the other one.
Just to make you feel.
And then it was like, oh, well, I might as well have the third one. So 3 Mars bars. And of course, you know what I'm going to say. Yeah, I stuffed that down.
Yeah.
And it's still there.
Yeah, because I suppose something like today, your first time on television, if this doesn't trigger you, nothing will really. Back to that child in the church singing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for this opportunity for me to see, because I thought about her today and I thought, oh my God.
Is she all right?
Oh, she's absolutely fine. But what I'm saying is that programme is no longer residing within my subconscious mind. I've done the work.
Yeah.
So
can anybody do this work? Can anybody overcome this negative programming that we have within ourselves?
Again, it's not about overcoming, it's about awareness. It's
just
awareness.
Living with it, yeah.
No, it's about awareness. I don't have fear, I don't have anxiety, I have a bit of caution.
Where's the programme gone? I'm a bit confused now. Is it still there? It's just like you're living with... I don't know.
No, I mean, when I call it a programme, in terms of, I would describe it as like being a computer with, if you have a computer with programmes playing in the background, or apps running, or the voice is going on.
The apps of it,
apps running. That drains the energy of the computer, kind of slows it down, it can become frustrated.
And your iPhone will crash easier and the battery will waste quicker.
Exactly.
Now, if the app is running in the background, I have you.
Yes.
I have you.
So I had all that running in the background. I don't have that anymore. So I'm coming into alignment. I come from the gut feeling. So I am the commander of my own PlayStation, which is my mind, my being. Whereas before it was like nearly that game, you know that game where something pops up, you knock it down, something else pops up. So the programs were, and programs, when I say programs, they're just habits of thought that are embedded.
Yeah.
And if we've had them for a long time, they're embedded more.
Yeah.
And if you're asking me, can we weed them out like we would in a garden? We absolutely can.
At any age?
At any. I've worked with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and one incredible, stunning 80-year-old woman. And the programme went back to between 0 and 7, which it normally does, but it plays out differently when they get older. So yes, we can. Okay.
Now, the book is called The Abundance Factor. It's how do people get their hands on it? I presume all in Amazon and all good?
It is. It's an Amazon #1 bestseller. That's because of Joe Vitale.
No, it's because of you, Denise. Come on.
Oh, no, it is.
And you have a chapter in it along with many other people as well. And if people want to get in touch with you personally about life coaching?
It's www.denisebrannick.com, and they can also buy the book through the website as well.
OK, thank you so much for joining us on the show today,
Denise. Thank you so much.
Now, time for a quick break, but when we come back, one Russian man goes to extremes when he pops a question. Wait until you see this. See you at 3.